Good morning and welcome to the Deadline Press Agency roundup of today's top stories in the Scottish press from Deadline Towers in Leith. I'm Oliver Faramond.
And I'm Rory Reynolds. Let's have a look at today's papers.
On the front page of the Daily Telegraph, another expenses files story that MPs are attempting to smear Sir Thomas Legge, the independent auditor who has overseen the expenses scandal remit that we saw last week.
We looked at this last week, but MPs are saying that Legge is making them liable for payments back to 2004 before newer regulations for the expenses came in.
The extent to which party leaders can bring rebels on this matter into line will be seen as a test of their party discipline, I think. A story on page 5 of the Telegraph about Mock the Week and a joke made by Frankie Boyle, and the BBC Trust have chastised him for this joke, and it's a somewhat lowbrow joke that I don't think we can repeat about Rebecca Adlington, but I saw this story last night actually and checked out the clip on YouTube, and it's quite bad.
Frankie Boyle also under fire for mocking the Queen. I don't think we can repeat what he said, but it was certainly quite close to treason. The BBC Trust, however, said that people watching that show after the watershed would expect to hear the sort of jokes that were made then.
The Scottish Sun today, the front page, Ricky, I blame Cheryl, that's the Scot who got booted out of X Factor, has blamed his mentor Cheryl Cole for his exit, saying that he felt like he was mentoring her. And on page 6, a story about STV, and there's a few stories in today's papers attacking the Scottish broadcaster, and the line the Scottish Sun have gone with is that they have made a mistake by replacing top Sunday night dramas. Can you think of a few examples?
The Bill is the one that people are angry about, but also some of these series dramas, such as Doc Martin.
STV took the decision to replace some of these with James Bond and You Only Live Twice, and this proved to be a huge turn-off for Scots viewers, with only 324,000 tuning in, whereas in the rest of the UK, 9 million watched Doc Martin. The front page of the Scottish Daily Mail, a type of story that we're all very familiar with. Fury over massages for Scots criminals. News that the Scottish Prison Service offer holistic therapies to criminals inside Scottish prisons, such as yoga, massage and acupuncture. On the front page of the Times today, a story about high-ranking figures in the armed forces attacking the BNP for hijacking their image for political use. There's a campaign been formed called Stolen Valour, where former high-profile soldiers such as Andy McNabb and Simon Weston weigh in about the BNP hijacking the army's image. Signatories on the letter includes General Sir Mike Jackson and General Sir Richard Dannett, and this is just one of, I'm sure, a number of stories about the BNP that have become more prominent as the week moves towards their appearance on Question Time on Thursday. On page 13 of the Times, a woman in Fife faces having her baby taken away by social services just hours after it was born. Kerry Robertson and her fiancé Mark have been told by Fife social services that Kerry's learning difficulties mean that she's not capable of raising a child. And I was working on this story last night and spoke to the couple at their house in Dunfermline, and it's a really tragic case.
Front page of the Herald today, very nice page 1 today. The Queen Mary II arriving at Greenock amid fireworks last night, and also bottom of the page here, midwives are burning out due to hospital staffing crisis. Midwives working in Scottish hospitals are burning out because of the pressure they've been put under, and one authority here, Greater Glasgow and Clyde, has had to put 20 extra midwives on their ward to relieve stressed staff.
Health standards, one of the main focus points of the Glasgow North East by-election, as that is one of the poorest health areas in the country.
Page 3 of the Herald today, dominating many of the papers today. There's a page lead saying STV fails to make the grade in BAFTA Scotland nominations. Right-hand column on page 3 here. The broadcaster has denied it is a tartan and shortbread channel. This comes after ditching the popular soap The Bill in favour of programmes like Made in Scotland.
A really good story on page 9 of the Daily Star today about Scottish soldiers and stags.
This is a great story today about Scots Guards practising their sniper techniques on stags in Balmoral. The soldiers have been given the permission to cull the royal deer in the Balmoral estate in Aberdeen.
A story on the front page of the Daily Record today that's in one or two other papers as well. A teacher who was struck off for having sex with a 15-year-old pupil last month. She was originally convicted in January. It's been revealed that she's still meeting with this pupil to help him with his homework with the consent of the mum.
Big splash on page 8 and 9 today on the Record. This is the debate over the BNP to appear on Question Time on Thursday. Labour parliamentary candidate for Glasgow Central, Anna Sarwar, saying the BNP should never be allowed on the show. But George Galloway, the Record columnist, saying that we need to air their views and combat them in the open. An interesting story on the front page of the Scottish Daily Express today. Doctors saying that people may be able to stay fit for 50 years after 50. Hospitals will eventually have a stock of pre-prepared tissue to repair damage to bones.
This is the second health story on the front page of the Daily Express this week.
Very interesting one as well, implying that people could live to 100. Page 13 of the Scotsman today. This is a story from one of our colleagues at Edinburgh Sheriff Court. A former bank manager sobbed in the dock yesterday after she was jailed for just over a year for pocketing £23,000 from her customers. She tried to pay back the full amount, including selling her house, but the sheriff said you can't buy yourself out of a custodial sentence.
Thanks for listening. Today is Tuesday the 20th of October and I'm Oliver Faramond.
And I'm Rory Reynolds. Do join us tomorrow for a run through of the papers.